What is up, you guys? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Back for another spotlight video. This one I was not expecting to do, but I watched a video from Metal Ron over at Mind Over Metal yesterday on one of my bands that I really enjoy, and that's Raven, part of the new wave of British heavy metal. They've been around for a long time, hard-working blue-collar band, and these guys just have fun. So I'm going to spotlight all the studio albums. We'll go through one at a time. Towards the end of Metal Ron's video, he said, please, share your collection, share your stories. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll start off with their first one. Rock Until You Drop. These are, I got most of them are on CD. I got 3 on vinyl. So not a big cover like the vinyl here, but pretty cool. So this is their debut. There's the back cover. This is a reissue on Sanctuary BMG. This is actually a 2017 reissue. Digipack, pretty cool. The CD's got the cover right on it. Pretty nice. Nice Digipack for sure. So that's their first album. A lot of killer songs on here. Hard Ride, Hell Patrol, Don't Need Your Money, which I think was their very first single ever, I think. Next up is their second album, Wiped Out. I have this one on the Spitfire Remastered series. It actually just got reissued on like the first one and the third one on Sanctuary BMG, so I did order that. My OCD kicked in, and I'm gonna need to get that copy for sure. So here's the back cover shot. So this is also a reissue. This is not an original. This one came out in 1982. Another great album. Lead off track, Faster Than the Speed of Light. Then we got Bring the Hammer Down, Firepower. Just, you know what, this band just has fun, and I have fun listening to these guys. Great band. So here's their second album. Now the third album, to me, is the one that just kind of catapulted them into the big leagues, and they stayed there for a while, and we'll take you through this album. All for One, and I'm sure you have heard of this album in the metal world. So this is that Digipack style, like their debut. Cool CD, well put together. Sanctuary BMG did a nice job on this. Then from there, they signed a major label record deal with Atlantic Records, and they came out with their first album. And these are the 3 that I had on cassette back in the day. There's a period where kind of Raven did drop off my radar, but a couple of years ago I collected any of the ones I was missing for my collection. Here's Stay Hard. Major label debut, and they threw some money at these guys to begin with. Got some big name producers. This one is produced by Michael Wagner. I'm sure you've heard of him in the metal world. Took him in a bit of a more commercial direction on this album, but it's a good album. A lot of good tunes on here. They did Stay Hard's awesome. What they did is they re-recorded Hard Ride on this one, which was on Hard Ride was on their first album, and this one they made Hard Ride sound a little more commercial, maybe even radio friendly a little bit, but good album. I enjoy this one. The next album up is where, in my eyes, they take a bit of a step back. There's not many memorable tracks on this one. I do like the very first song on here. It's called The Pack Is Back. There's also a cover on here of Gimme Some Lovin'. Not a bad job. So again, a big name producer, Eddie Kramer. You'll know that name from Kiss fame and countless other hard rock acts. There's the back cover. So this was their second Atlantic release. I think they maybe overall they weren't that happy with that album. And the next and final major label album, they produced themselves with probably maybe some help on engineering or something. But the Gallagher brothers, John and Mark, which are well-respected musicians in the hard rock metal world, they produced this one, Life's a Bitch, and to me this is more of a return to form. Out of the Atlantic years, this is definitely one that I enjoy more than the other two. Wicked album. There's the back cover. The one other thing I wanted to tell you about these three albums are easier to get on vinyl than they are on CD. I've tried to get these three on CD, some ridiculous prices, like in the $100 range or higher just for a CD. And in some cases they're not even the original, they're re-releases on Mayhem Records. Anyways, these vinyl were actually pretty good price and easy to find. So that was their last release with Atlantic Records. At that time also, the original drummer Rob Wacko Hunter has left the band. Signed a new deal. This must be a one record deal with Combat, and came back with an awesome album. Nothing Exceeds Like Excess. This is a really good album. I have the reissue on Century Media, which I've heard actually sounds better than the original on Combat. This one's just a better sound, so I'm happy to have this. If I ever come across the original Combat release, I'll probably pick that up too if it's a reasonable price. So that was a 1988 release. And then looks like they signed a deal with SPV, which, getting that right, yes, SPV. Any of you guys from the metal world and stuff, you'll know that label. Lots of metal bands on SPV. Came back with a very good album in my eyes. Heavy, aggressive. Architect of Fear. Not the best cover there. They could have did a little more, but acceptable. In the back there, the track listing. You actually need a bionic eye to read that, so don't bother. But if you are a Raven fan and you're a little on the fence about some of these albums that are later in their career, this one's pretty awesome. It's well worth it. Came back in 1994 with an album called Glow. Now this was a slight drop off in my eyes than their previous efforts. I don't know, it's missing some oomph, if that makes sense. It's not memorable. There are some great tracks on there, but just not enough to make me want to go back to this one that much. Another SPV release. So we got the Gallagher brothers there, John, Mark, and Joe Hasselvater, or Hasnobladder they call him. So I don't know, Joe, he must like a few pints every now and then. Joe's no longer in the band, actually, had some health issues in 2017. They found, I don't know if he is actually announced as the permanent replacement in Raven yet. His name is Mike Heller. He did fill in for a while, and I believe he might be named the permanent replacement, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. I hope these guys are going to work on another studio album. Little off track there, sorry guys, a little sideways. But 1997 came back with a heck of an album. Everything Louder. This is a fantastic album too. There we go, typical Raven cover there. There's the back cover, another SPV release. This one's got a lot of great songs on it too. No Pain, No Gain, Sweet Jane, Hungry, the title song Everything Louder. Great album. 2000 they released this actually. I don't know if they got a one one record deal with Metal Blade, but this was originally released on Metal Blade. This is not a Metal Blade release that I have. I am looking to get that. This one's actually on Metal Soldiers Records. I'd like to get the original on Metal Blade. Kind of picky that way. So anyways, really good album. Great tracks on here. I would say the past few, except for Glow, have been very consistent. You know, these guys remind me somewhat of like, you know, the UDO albums. They just come out with good metal, fun albums, great to listen to. You know, they don't have these big multi-million selling albums, but that's not what I'm after anyways. So, and then next, what happened is Mark Gallagher was in some sort of accident where a wall collapsed, crushed both of his legs, and he was out of commission for a good almost probably 3 or 4 years. I don't know if it's, you know, he still has effects of this, but there was one point in 2004 that he actually even performed a few shows on stage in a wheelchair. One tough mother. Like I said, this kind of goes to show you how these guys are a hard-working blue-collar band, and definitely worth checking out. So after a long road to recovery, they came back, and this title reflects what happened and what they went through. Walking Through Fire, pretty cool cover. You got your bass, your guitar, your drums, all hands on deck. They just didn't miss a beat. So that was 9 years in between releases. This is a killer album, definitely worth checking out. Released on SBV Steamhammer. There's the back cover. And then finally we had to wait another 6 years for a Raven release, but well worth the wait. Metal Ron talked about this. He has spun it many a time, he said, and that's Extermination. And I have too. I just love this album. It's probably the one lately in the past 6 months that I've played it a lot. Great tracks: Destroy All Monsters, Fight. There's a kind of a tribute here, Thunder Down Under, to Bon Scott. You listen to those lyrics, you'll know exactly who they're talking about. And there's what's the other one? Silver Bullet. I mean, this is a 15 tracks of pure fun and a great album. So I am a big Raven fan, and have been for a number of years. Just a fun band to listen to. Go and check them out. I'm sure down the line, maybe when Metal Ron is ready, maybe we could each do our ranking, and it would be tough to do these guys. A lot of albums that are very similar, and like I said, even like the UDO albums, the word in my mind that comes is consistency. You know, they just come out with a brand new album of full of metal songs and just go on tour and have a blast. So that's it for my Raven Spotlight. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Very much appreciated. And that's it for today. Stay heavy.